Hello, Leafs Nation! Welcome back to your go-to channel, Toronto Maple Leaf News Network. Today we've got jam-packed updates about our Maple Leafs that surfaced just hours ago. If you bleed blue and white, you do not want to miss this. And yes, before we dive in, if you are new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you never fall out of the loop. Alright, let's get rolling. Update 1. Bold 2 for 1 shockwave, Toronto weighs Jesperi Kotkaniemi bet and a cap shuffle. Leafs fans, picture this. Toronto flips 2 familiar forwards for 1 polarizing piece and potentially unlocks fresh flexibility down the middle. The idea making the rounds has the Maple Leafs landing Jesperi Kotkaniemi from Carolina while Max Domi and Calle Järnkrok head the other way. This is not a confirmed trade. It is a widely discussed proposal, but it is juicy enough to dissect. Why does it tempt? Kotkaniemi is in year 4 of an 8-year, $38.56 million pact, a big, long bet on upside. Slotted as a third-line center or even a second-line left winger, he could bring secondary scoring and size even if his production has seesawed. Last season, 12 goals, 21 assists, 33 points across 78 games. Former 3rd overall pick pedigree still whispers, there is more here. The cost? You part with Domi, 2nd year of a 4-year, $15 million deal, whose snarl, playmaking, and room-tilting energy are real. He chipped in 8 goals and 25 assists for 33 points in 74 games. You also move Järnkrok in the final year of a 4-year, $8.4 million contract, reliable depth, trusted on both sides of the puck. That is not painless. But here is where it gets strategic. Toronto has too many bodies up front and, as Elliotte Friedman has noted, is trying to move money around possibly to chase another ad like Jack Roslovic. A 2-for-1 can simplify the forward logjam, consolidate talent, and still nudge the books in the right direction. Remember, Carolina would be shedding Kotkaniemi's average annual value, $4.82 million, with 5 years left while taking on 2 shorter-term pieces. For Toronto, the calculus is, does a malleable 25-year-old with nearly 500 National Hockey League games and untapped ceiling outperform the combined utility of Domi plus Järnkrok over the next window? That is the bet. Fit-wise, imagine Kotkaniemi sheltered behind the top guns, driving a heavy cycle with wingers who can finish, or sliding up on the left to complement skill with retrievals and net front presence. If the staff squeezes consistent pace and decisiveness out of him, you could suddenly have a sturdier spine and a different look for matchups that have historically bogged Toronto down. If not, you inherit term that limits future wiggle room. High floor? Not exactly. High variance with playoff upside? Absolutely. Update 2. Blue line shake. Up brewing. Leafs link to Pesce Blockbuster talks. Leafs Nation, buckle up because this one could redefine Toronto's entire defensive core. Chatter has emerged that the Maple Leafs are circling Pesce, the right shot anchor from Carolina, as a potential target in what insiders are already calling a blockbuster in the making. While no paperwork has slid across the desk yet, the framework of these discussions hints that Toronto is not just tinkering, they are swinging for seismic change. Pesce is 29, steady as granite, and entering the prime stretch of his career. He is on a 6-year, $24.15 million contract, carrying a cap hit of just over $4 million, a figure many general managers view as one of the National Hockey League's most team-friendly bargains for a top-pair caliber shutdown defender. He posted 3 goals and 20 assists across 76 games last season, but his value is less about the box score and more about suffocating elite opponents, gobbling defensive zone starts, and freeing up puck-moving partners to thrive. For Toronto, the appeal is obvious. The Leafs have leaned on Morgan Rielly as their only truly reliable minute muncher on the back end. They patched with Simon Benoit, leaned into Jake McCabe, and hoped Timothy Liljegren would climb another rung. But in crunch time, especially the playoffs, the lack of a dependable right side rock has haunted them. Inserting Pesce beside Rielly, suddenly, Rielly has cover to activate offensively without sweating every pinch. Slotting him with McCabe or Liljegren? Equally balanced, equally stabilizing. It is a multiplier effect, not just a one-for-one. Of course, the question is, what is the cost? Carolina does not just hand out 30-minute playoff warriors. Whispers suggest the ask begins with a roster forward. Someone like William Nylander or even Mitch Marner has been floated in speculative columns, though insiders quickly walk that back as unlikely. More realistic? A package anchored by Calle Järnkrok or Max Domi, both already rumored in other frameworks, sweetened with prospects or draft picks. The Hurricanes covet scoring depth and cap predictability, and Toronto's crowded forward stable is ripe for dealing. There is also timing to factor in. Carolina's front office has shown willingness to cut bait before term becomes an anchor, and Pesce is in a zone where his value may never be higher. For Toronto, acquiring him now means integrating during the regular season and testing chemistry long before playoff pressure cooker time. The risk? You sacrifice multiple forwards and potentially high picks for a defender who is not a flashy point producer? The reward? A defensive structure that instantly looks like playoff caliber hockey rather than run and gun survival. And if there is one lesson Toronto has learned the hard way, it is this. Come May, balance on the blue line is not a luxury, it is oxygen. Update 3. Leafs' goalie puzzle. Joseph Woll's future. Samsonov pressure. And the trade rumor mill. Leafs Nation, our final update today zeroes in on the crease, the heart, and headache of this Toronto roster. Just hours ago, rumblings surfaced that the Maple Leafs are openly weighing their goaltending strategy heading into the thick of the season. Joseph Woll, the 26-year-old netminder who has flashed brilliance but battled injuries, is at the center of it. Paired with Ilya Samsonov, the duo has given us moments of brilliance, but also stretches of unease, and insiders say Toronto is not ruling out a bold move here. Woll's story is as tantalizing as it is frustrating. In just 25 starts last season, he posted a goals against average hovering around 2.56 and a save percentage near .914 numbers that scream potential starter. The issue? Health. Groin tweaks, lower body flare-ups. His availability has been the Achilles heel. The Maple Leafs love his poise and calm, but in a league that punishes inconsistency, patience has limits. On the flip side, Samsonov has been steady but not spectacular. He carried a heavier workload 40-plus starts and finished with a goals against average in the 2.7 range with a save percentage that wavered under .91. Those are not catastrophic, but for a team aiming for the Stanley Cup, average in net feels like a glass ceiling. Whispers in the front office suggest that unless one of these goalies claims the crease decisively, Brad Treliving may explore the trade route before the deadline. Names like Juice Saros in Nashville or even John Gibson in Anaheim have floated in speculative chatter. Why does this matter? Because Toronto's forward group, stacked with Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander, is built to win now. Their blue line could soon be bolstered if a Brett Pesce-type deal lands, but without a backbone in the crease, all those moves crumble when it matters most. One leaky game in April can erase 6 months of dominance. What is fascinating is the strategic split. Do you double down on Woll, banking on health and growth, or do you cut bait early and package him while his value still has believers? Do you ride Samsonov as a steady regular season innings eater and add a playoff-tested rental? Or do you swing for a Saros-level whale and lock down the position for years? Leafs Nation, this is more than a goalie depth chart. It is about aligning every piece of the roster for a true window. The front office knows it, the players feel it, and the fan base, you, demand it. Buckle up, because the next move in net may be the one that defines this season. And there you have it, Leafs Nation, 3 massive updates that just broke in the last few hours. From the wild Kotkaniemi trade chatter to the possibility of Brett Pesce stabilizing our blue line, all the way to the goalie questions hanging over Woll and Samsonov, the Toronto Maple Leafs are anything but quiet right now. The storylines are heating up, and whether it is bold trades or lineup shakeups, this front office looks ready to reshape the Leafs for a deep playoff run. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Toronto Maple Leaf News Network, your home for breaking Leafs updates, analysis, and passionate fan talk. If you enjoyed today's jam-packed breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe if you are new, and hit the bell so you never miss a beat. This is just the beginning.